Do you want to have a spooky paranormal discussion with us? Come join us. Warning, this show is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed are theories, folklore, historical, fantastical, and speculation, and not to be taken as pure fact. Viewer discretion is advised. Melanie, Lightbeam, and the Shamrock Pixie join forces together to bring you paranormal, strange, unusual, scary, spooky, or just overall unbelievable stories and discussions. Viewer discretion is advised. This is an open talk show discussing all things paranormal. We encourage audience participation. So sit back, grab some popcorn, share out to your friends. Together, we can explore the paranormal. Don't forget, subscribe to everyone, hit that like button, share out, or for super chats as a thank you. Have fun and enjoy. Welcome to the show. Enjoy the show. I'm insisting there is something wrong with me.
Why is that?
I don't know. Every time I hear that, it's like, ooh.
Right?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to, what is it? Let's get chatting.
Let's get chatting.
Let's get chatting. But it's let's get chatting about the spooky, paranormal, strange, unusual. Who knows what the hell we're going to talk about.
It's between the CT and paranormal and everything in between.
Yeah, we have to use CT because we're not supposed to say that very long conspiring word that has like a theory with it. So we're just gonna call it the CT. So if you guys hear CT, you know we're talking. Yeah, it's the other C word that we're not allowed to use.
Yeah. I can hardly see your face. Your name thingy is blocking half.
Oh, my name thingy? Okay, let's take that off. Because if not, I was going to say, if you can't see my face because the light, I will, let's take that off. Is that better? I moved it down.
I can see you now.
Now you can see me. Who do we have in the chat? Chu is in the chat. Hello, Chu. And Chu, you changed your avatar. We get to see your lovely face. That's great. We have Tammy. Tammy's in the house. Mommy's in the house. She's like, hello, everyone. Boo. All right. So wait. I have to make a couple of announcements before we get started. The very first announcement is it's the disclaimer. You know the show is going to be spooky. It's going to be scary. It's going to be covering topics, ideas, controversies, whatever you want to call it, that could be against some of your own personal views. We're adults here. If you have a different perspective, we would love to hear that perspective. Some of us don't even believe the stuff that we're talking about. I just give the different theories. And believe me, with a topic like this, you're going to hear some far-fetched stuff because I'm going to let Des get started with this, and then I'm going to take it down a whole different. We're talking like, where did Melanie come up with this? Because Melanie also tied in a whole bunch of conspiracy theories, and I showed Des, and Des was like, oh yeah, I'm going to show some. So we tied a whole bunch of things together. So I'm really happy about that. Say hello if you're in the background. We have a lot of people that are lurking. Say hello in the chat and give us a thumbs up. Share it out. Make sure you share it out. Now that was number 2. Viewer discretion is advised. We're adults here. It's going to be various topics, and we're going to do this all the time. Okay. Number 2. Today is a very, very special day that only happens once every 4 years. So we have to give some credit to that. It's leap year.
Heck yeah, it is.
I know. We should have did a topic on leap year. I didn't even realize it was leap year.
I didn't either.
No, but that's okay. It's leap year. So if you're feeling a little off or different or time is not making sense, it's because the truth is time is not making sense and we should never have a leap year like this. So that's a whole mistake since that's another conspiracy theory. They changed their time.
And the thing, and real quick, if you
said the word
down in my chair, it's because I have a sucky chair.
You're gonna be like,
So I'll be talking and I feel myself going down. So ignore that, please. I'm getting
You'll have to bounce up and put like a pillow underneath your butt. or back in the days, you stack the books up and you sit on the books.
I do have
Not those books. No, you got to show those books. And then the final thing I want to say is, because I find this interesting, that the news coverage is not covering this. But in case nobody knew, the entire north end of Texas is burning down. And when I say burning, it's the largest fire ever in Texas history. It's spanning, as of right now, 1,400 square miles. So just think about that, 1,400 square miles. We're not talking about 1,400 acres, because it's actually over 1,000,000 acres is burning down. But this thing is so massive, and guess what? News is not reporting it.
I did see an article yesterday on it, but they only said that it had surrounded a whole town. That's what the news article had said.
Yeah, right now it's like 20 towns. It's
yeah, and there was like a bunch. They don't know how many people were trapped inside, and da 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 da. And I'm just like, holy cow.
Now it's funny because where my location is now, because I go travel, is roughly 110 miles away from somebody, and both of us are in danger if this spreads. That's what's crazy about it, is because I would get hit from it from the east side, he would get hit from it from the south side. That's how crazy this thing is.
Right. That's wild. That's wild.
So I said to Des, and I'm just going to say this here, just in case, if Melanie just disappears, know that the government did it. Don't joke. Don't joke. Don't trust anyone. The government did it.
I don't have. Oh,
that's it. That's going to get the show banned right there, because I said that.
But you whispered it.
I know. It's like, they did it. They did
so
it.
It's all good. It's all good. Valerie said, scary day, bus stalled out 5 times with kids, with a bus full of kids.
That was your bus?
That's wild.
Somebody was playing with the electrical system or something.
Well, it is the 29th, and leap year is, for some people it's positive. Some people it's negative, but all in all, everything has just been really wacky. I was going to say wackadoo.
Yeah,
this whole
Tammy's
year
in California, and she says they understand fire. Also flooding. I remember when you were taking the pictures of the floods happening, Tammy. So she understands this intimately, what's going on with the floods and the fires and the destruction.
Yeah, it's crazy. Mother Nature is not happy. And she's just fighting back.
I will say this for everybody. This is a pre-warning. Circle the date on April 8th. Because April 8th, yeah, the shit is hitting the fan. I'll tell you that right now. If anybody's wondering what's happening April 8th, that is the solar eclipse that's happening. And if anybody's been following what's been going on with the solar eclipse, because now all of a sudden that they're saying that the solar eclipse is hiding a comet that's going to be coming by too. And they call it the Devil's Comet. So there's a whole history of the Devil's Comet.
We have so much to talk about.
I know. And so we're not even talking. No, we are going to talk about 411. I'm just going to start off, and then I'm giving the floor to Des. I will just say that I knew about this topic, but not in detail. It was just something that I randomly knew from a distance. So I started doing my research this week, and I will tell you the chills I got up and down, the goosebumps from reading some of these stories. And you don't have to necessarily can call this a CT. No, we can't use that word. You don't have to call it a CT. It's just the fact that why are so many people missing from national parks? And it's not just missing, they're missing strangely. So, Des, I'm going to give the floor to you because this is your topic. And of course, I'm going to interject some crazy things in between. And I've got some case studies as well. And we're just going to have fun with this topic. So,
get my notebooks.
Yeah, grab your notebooks, pull up a chair, share this out with your friends and everybody. Take some notes because I guarantee this will be something you probably never heard of before.
you know, and the thing with this whole situation, the missing 411, okay, it is literally rabbit hole after rabbit hole. Not only a rabbit hole with each case, it's also a rabbit hole with the person that wrote it, the author of the books. It's a rabbit hole for each individual part that these people have been going missing in. Now, a lot of these stories, a lot of these tidbits in these books. Let me get these over here so I can, you know. So he's got like 14 books, and he's working on more. Forgive me for not being able to say his last name. I tried so hard to remember how to say it, and I kept butchering it. So I'm just going to show his name.
Okay, so I'm gonna say it's David Politis. I
Yes,
really believe that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, but for some reason I can't figure out how to say it.
I just have to highlight this comment.
It.
Welcome to the show, Rich. Rich says, "Can I just say that I may get real scared and leave because I live in a national park?"
You know, these are literally people's thoughts and ideas of what they believe happens to these people. A lot of these things that are in these books, you know, have been updated. They haven't been updated in the books because by the time that these stories were put in these books, they weren't solved, if that makes sense. So now, like this book, it was written in 2016. Okay, 2016. It is now 2024. So a lot of these books, the people in these books, at the time when they were written, there was no rhyme or reason or explanation on what was going on. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them have been figured out, have been solved. He just writes them and brings light to the situation. He gives his spin, his tale, or his information that he gets, and puts it in a book for people to be, you know, aware. Now,
And if I may just interject, I put it in the chat. His name is David Politis. He was a former police officer, so this isn't some crazy guy off the street that's rambling about things. So he's using his police office detective skills to do these cases, and it's fascinating that there's over 1,500 cases as of right now, and I think he's up to book 17 now. That's why I said over 15 books. They made movies. Des has a stack right there of books to begin with, so this is something that you guys could research. Yeah, you guys could research and read this because he is fascinating. And the beauty of it is he doesn't give you the reason as to why or what. His stance is he just wants to address a problem. He's like, okay, there is a problem with national parks. People are going missing.
Yes.
But we don't know why. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. And then I'm going to actually kind of go off on a little curve on that. With each story that he has put in each person's story that he has put in these books, do your own research on it. Just like we say in Resell, do your own research. We're just gonna give you some ideas and some of the stories that we have in these books that he has written, and I can even give you the year that each book was written. And again, Tommy said some of the weird and strange stories have been solved and found not to be so strange. So you just have to look at it however you want to look at it when it comes to the missing 411. And there are, without a doubt, a lot of the cases are very strange and very weird.
I told you, I get the goosebumps.
So it's almost like he's just trying to bring light to things. And that's cool. That is so cool. Because I would have never known about that in parks. You know, I love national parks. I've never really been in them, but I guess I could say I love the idea of going and tracking around. Like we have a place not far from us, between here and Wisconsin Dells. And we went for a walk through it. It's Tommy, what is that called? It's kind of like a park, a natural park, but it's not. It
Like
now my brain is wanting to shut down.
reservation or a
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's trails throughout the woods, and it's pretty good size.
like a hiking trail. Okay.
Yeah, and it's pretty good size, and a lot of people walk that constantly. And I will actually touch back on this story, and I'll show you pictures when we decide to do one on Bigfoot.
Well, he's David Politis also does Bigfoot and Sasquatch as well.
That's where he started. Yeah, that was that was what he did before he did the Missing 411. He wrote those books, or that book, before he did the Missing 411.
Tammy says that she needs to check him out. Like I said, Tammy, very interesting author. And there's you mentioned it, that there's the Netflix movies. There's
no, he's got the Missing 411 movies. Missing 411 movies. He's got a couple of those. You can check them out at your local library. And you can also check the books out at the library. That's what I did, was I checked it out from our local library. The ones that our library actually has access to, they don't have access to all of his books. And I think it's just because not a lot of people use the library anymore, but I encourage people to use it. And in the back, let me see if I can find it. He does, where is it? One of these books.
It's a nature trail. That's what he said.
Yeah, it's a nature. Oh, it's gorgeous. We walked that. I love that. However, this isn't the book.
And Chu says, "Hey, Shamrock Pixie."
Hello, darling. How you doing?
Chu, we love the new picture. We get to see you.
So this book, The Missing 411, A Sobering Coincidence. I actually have this book in storage. This was the very first book that I ever read from him. And I got it from an acquaintance. And so, yes.
Witch's Gulch?
Yes. I got lots of stories about, well, we have some stories about Witch's Gulch. It's one of the attractions in the Wisconsin Dells. It's a boat tour you can go on, and then they go through the Witch's Gulch. Well, however, we were not on that attraction. We were actually on the boat, our own boat, and we didn't realize that that's where we were at. And we went into the little cove, like the little see, now this is why I wish Tommy was on here, because he knows how to explain this crap better. I get frustrated. I get very frustrated.
You're doing great. No,
I can't remember what it's like. The little area where there's like water, and the rocks are next to each other. But we went in there, so I think it's a cove, like a little cove. Okay. And our boat stopped. Like the motor just died. We couldn't do anything. Tommy was trying to get it to start.
You have to get rescued.
It would not start for nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we literally had to paddle out of there, because we were thinking, oh crap, we're going to have to paddle our boat all the way to the dock, which was very far. But as soon as we got out of there, the engine fired right back up.
That is so weird.
Yep.
Maybe it's something electronic that affected the engine.
Yeah, I don't know, because boats go in and out of there all the time. That's part of the tour. And so we were like, well, that's really weird. And they do. They it's an attraction. You can get on the boat. They give boat tours, and they give you history and stuff like that. And then they take you to Witch's Gulch. And we happened to be be there in our own boat, and we literally had to paddle out of there and Tommy's like, I'm going to try the key again, see what happens, because it was going to be a long night.
And it worked out perfectly, correct?
Yeah, as soon as we were
As
past
soon as you were out there at the gulch.
Yep, as soon as we were past the gulch, the engine fired right up like there was no issues.
I won't derail the conversation, but someday I have to tell you how a group of friends of mine got stuck in a sailboat in the middle of winter and had to be rescued by the Coast Guard. But I'm not gonna... that's a story for another night. But
Right.
let's talk about the missing 411. So
Yes.
First thing right off the bat, in case anybody's wondering, it's simply called missing 411. It's people who disappear for whatever reason in national parks.
Well, and actually, I just learned too, and I've been doing a lot of research here and there for a long time. The missing 411 is actually, which I just learned, I think it was yesterday, that it's actually a group of people who fit a specific criteria that become the missing 411, because not every case is a missing 411, if that makes sense.
Do you have a list of that criteria, or?
I do. The profile points, actually.
Okay. Yeah, share them out. Let's hear.
All right. So the one of the profile points, and these are points of connection for all missing 411 cases that would classify as missing 411 cases. Point of separation, when with others, the decision to go on their own. Time of disappearance, mid to late afternoon or early evening just before it gets dark.
Okay. I'm putting this in the chat.
The predominant time is just before dark.
Okay. Ooh,
that's what they're finding with a lot of these.
That makes it interesting with me tying into my stuff, but go ahead, because I didn't know about these points.
Okay. And so a lot of the cases that I've read in these books, they literally, it's a lot of them are just before dark. Boulder fields, granite boulders, or rock fields, and this is where they tend to disappear in or around.
Okay.
Near water, found in or around water, happens anywhere around the world. So it's not just a United States thing. This is around the world. Some of these cases, he just did, I guess, he was in Australia, and he's got one in Canada. He did some research up in Canada as well. And so it's really widespread, the different cases that he's found, that he's read and stuff. So happens anywhere around the world and isn't related to a geographic area, one specific geographic area. Weather events. Now this one's kind of interesting, because when I was trying to explain it to Tommy, I must not have explained it correctly, so I want to get this correct. With the weather events, it tends to be some kind of weather event around or near where the person disappeared. So when the search party, they're getting people together to go search for this person, 9 times out of 10, there's some weird weather anomaly that happens. Either it's, a dust storm to a full-blown blizzard, and everything in between. So, I mean,
a lot of the cases were, it was like rainy and foggy, and there was like cases like that, like it was in the dark, the ones that I was reading.
Right. And the thing is like a lot of times from what I was reading, he says that, missing 411 is the name given to the classification of the cases. And then Tommy gave the name Project, and I'm sure I said that wrong, so I apologize, is the name of the study.
Well, that's okay. I'm writing this stuff down too. I'm taking notes. This is awesome.
But yeah, they were saying like a lot of times with the weather event, there was no impending weather even forecasted. So it just like I can hear his chair moving around up there. So like it was a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden when the person disappeared and they go to search for him, but then all of a sudden there's severe storms, or it gets super foggy, or a blizzard happens. A lot of them, there was blizzards that happened. So the weather event was interesting to me because I do think that weather plays a big part in a lot of disappearances in general, not even the missing 411. A lot of these things can also be contributed to other disappearances that don't fall under the missing 411.
Right.
And so disability, number 6 is disability or illness. Victim is found to have a visible or and I can't even read my own writing, subliminal disability or illness below the threshold of sensation or consciousness perceived by or affecting someone's mind without their being aware.
Now he wrote, weather doesn't affect how the person went missing, but it affects the search for the person. And
Exactly.
that does have a great, because if
I did explain it that way, right?
You're doing fine. No, he's just expanding. He's expanding on it. But that's what makes it difficult is if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's Arctic temperatures, depending with the caverns, because you mentioned that it's near boulders, rocks. They won't be
Boulder
able to,
Fields. Granite.
they won't be able to climb down or anything like that. That they have to get a helicopter to come in, and sometimes the helicopter can't see. So there's a lot of factors that could that could cause issues with trying to find these people.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It's wild. Like we were watching the missing 411, and that one had to do with children. There was like a little boy that disappeared.
I have a few children's story too, and it gives me the chills when I read it.
Yeah, and it was so sad, and it's the people that kind of fit into this criteria of the missing 411 cases. They're literally either above the age of 50 and below the age of 30. So anybody 30 to 50, you're safe.
They don't want you.
Obviously,
they don't want you.
You're safe. But it's people that, like kids, they wander. They wander off. Everybody who is a parent or anybody who has been around kids knows that they can wander off. Older people, and I'm not saying old as in, oh, you're old. I'm just saying people over 50, they're more active, because they're not tied down to having to work 24/7. So they're more active, and so it's real interesting.
And what you were saying also is it doesn't matter your age, with the exception is you said that they generally between what'd you say, 30 to 50?
30 to 50 is what I was finding out. Yeah.
But it doesn't matter their nationality. It doesn't matter their physical fitness. But I mean, generally, if people are hiking, they're going to be physically fit better than like someone like me, because there's no way I'm going hiking. You know what I mean? So I'm not going hiking at all. But it's interesting that all these cases, there's no it doesn't matter. It could be female, male. It could be any race.
Mm-hmm.
It could be. It's just fascinating that all these people. Now, a lot of cases aren't necessarily 411 cases because they have to fit that specific criteria. But I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. Go on, because
that's all right. That's what we're here for.
We're going back and forth, and then I can give you some examples because I actually have some case studies which are rather crazy. So,
canines can't track, can't find scent or loses it quickly. And that is in 95% of the cases that are associated with the missing 411.
Canines can't track. That
Yeah.
that makes it even weirder.
They can't track, or they lose the scent very quickly.
And it makes you wonder what is causing them to lose the scent, because basically dogs are so sensitive that if you're walking through, and even if you're walking through the woods, you're going to find like bent sticks, you're going to find footprints, you're going to find things that associate that people have been walking there. Old like me.
No,
tell me you're not old.
He's past the 50 threshold.
That doesn't mean anything.
And he is not old. And I know
Isn't it sad to say that 50 is just middle age? That's all it is. You're like directly in the center.
I keep telling him all the time, you know, he's sexy to me, so I don't care how old he is. Age is just a number.
It is just a number.
For certain things. Other things, no. Okay, so here's another one. Number 8. Found an area previously searched a dozen times before.
Oh, interesting. So, and here, let me just put what he said. 17% of the missing persons have some sort of German descent, which that makes it very, very interesting if you follow German folklore and what's going on with the whole woods thing. But I'm not getting into that. That is totally another topic.
Ooh, we got to write that down so we can go into that. Oh, wrong book.
Like German fairy tales, Grimm's fairy tales, all that. Very, very interesting. All right, so they were found in places that were checked previously?
Mm-hmm. Repeatedly. Not just searched one time. They were searched numerous times. Oh, yeah, that's you. Yeah, and we just learned that yesterday or late last night about, because even Tommy was helping me with some of the research and some other parts. That's, like I said, we went down rabbit hole after rabbit hole with this. And it was really interesting to hear that 17% of the missing 401 had were German connection.
But I also made mention of it also depends on who is going to these places, because in some of the 411 stories, it's not necessarily visitors of national parks, it's people who live near there, which Richard, if you're still here, if Rich's still here, yes, people who live on or near national parks, they're part of the missing 411 as well. And I've got a couple of case stories of that as well. So,
and there is so many cases that I literally was trying to read, and you get them, unfortunately, because there are so many of them, they start to kind of intertwine with each other. Mm-hmm. So if you don't take notes, then you are safe. We will make sure you are safe.
Okay. Well, you mentioned the one about the little boy. Can we talk about that one? Because that one is the Martin case. And I like that one. So I don't know if you want to go for
the one where he went camping with his parents and his grandpa and his grandpa's friend.
Actually, no, that's a different one. No, keep going. Okay, keep going.
And I can't remember what the little boy's name is for the life of me, but it is in the Missing 411 movie that they have out, video that they have out that you can get from the library. So they were camping in a rugged place. The name and the location actually has left my brain, but this case it caught my attention because one, he was like 2 years old. The family, the mom, dad, and the little boy went into town to get some stuff, came back, the grandpa and his friend was there, and
was he saying he's still talking about the Canadian populations?
The American Canadian population is 70% of people with German descent. Figure that math, or figure the math.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. That is crazy. But the grandpa and the friend were literally fishing in the creek that was just right off the campsite. And it wasn't, I don't know if people have gone camping in national forest or anything like that. There's designated spots for it, and not every national park has camping. So you do have to, check all that out. But this particular place that they went to, it was just like flat land. Like it was rough in it camping. It wasn't glamping. It was literally off grid. You have to bring your own water, that kind of thing, type of camping. And they got back. Mom, dad, and the little boy were going to go with grandpa so they could show him all the big fish that they got. And the friend, well, the grandpa decided not to go, but the friend was going to take them instead. And they got halfway to where their point was, where the fishing was, and the little boy wanted to go back to camp. So she watched as her son started heading back to camp because grandpa was there. And that's between that point and being by grandpa is where he disappeared. And it was a straight shot.
Did they ever find him, or?
I do not believe they did find him. At the time of that video, they had not found him.
Because in some of these cases, either they completely disappear, they find them deceased in some way, or in a few cases, they actually found them alive. Now, yes. I have a story. It's a 2-year-old as well, but it's not the same story as hers. This one was in 1952 from River, Oregon. And basically, a 2-year-old goes missing during lunchtime. There is no sign, but they found footprints of the 2-year-old 4 miles away. So now bear in mind, it's in the middle of winter. There's snow on the ground. It's cold as anything, but they find footprints 4 miles away. And the kid is not even dressed up for the snow. He's not.
Right.
So then the next day, there's this massive hunt, and they find him alive 12 miles away. He's face down, and this is where it gets weird. His jacket is folded up next to him with his baseball hat on top of the jacket. So did the kid fold it? Did somebody else fold it? But the jacket's folded up with the baseball hat on top, and he had scratches all over his face. And when they talked to the kid, but bear in mind he's 2 years old, he can't really formulate a concise story. He just kept saying, the cat scratched me, the cat scratched me. That was his answer. The cat has scratched me. But here's the question. How does a 2-year-old go 20 hours in sub-zero temperatures in the snow, completely underdressed without getting hypothermia, and he's found, like I said, with his jacket folded, with the hat on top of the jacket, and he's face down, and he has no memory whatsoever.
And that was one of the things that they talk about with the survivors, that there's absolutely no memory of where they went from. So Tommy has put it in there for me. It's the Dior
Coons case. Okay, so that was the one that she was talking about, and I was talking about the Martin case. So two different cases, but
he did drop a link. Here's a video on that specific case. Thank you, honey.
He's so good. He's like, he does all the research for us.
Fast. And when he does,
we appreciate that.
Awesome. Like, I was 100% convinced. I mean, like that. What were in these books was how it was. Guilty.
Well, while you're looking with that, I'm just going to finish with the Keith case that I just mentioned with the little kid. He survived. He has no recollection of what happened. He's now an adult. And when you talk to him, he's like, I don't know what happened. There's no memory of what happened during that time. And they had a master tracker. He was found. Well, in her case, he was never found. In my case, he's still alive, and they're trying to interview and stuff like that. But a master tracker tried to do the same thing that he did between the 4 miles and then the 12 miles. And the question is, he's like, it's impossible. There is no way that a 2-year-old can do this in the darkness without any clothes, without any camping gear, tracking gear, whatever, and be perfectly healthy without even getting hypothermia. The kid should have been dead from hypothermia. So the question is, what happened to this kid? But
Yeah, and
he's one of the early ones that actually survived.
And see, and that's the thing too, like the theories around people's thoughts. Now, not necessarily ours, okay? But I have read where people think that aliens have shown up, plucked these people up, and then just deposited them wherever. I've also heard about Bigfoot being involved in these cases. So, depending on which way you believe or how you feel about it, it is wild to see, and I should say it's wild to read some of these cases that he writes about.
But David Politis will never tell you what the actual answer is. He just gives like the facts of here's what was happening during the case. He's not going to say, "Oh, it was aliens that did it. Oh, it was Bigfoot." And I mean, I found some evidence that could go even further than that.
Right, and and those are the ones that I've read. Like I quite enjoy reading the case files that he has put together in these books. Okay, but if you want to go a step further, make sure you do your own research and make sure that you when you're going through it, you actually try to see everything, because he's not able to put everything. Now, I don't know if he chooses not to do it or if he chooses to do it, but he's not able to put everything per case in these books.
There's too many cases. I mean, like I said, even with his 15 books, he has like 17 books right now. There's thousands of cases.
Now, you were talking about the Martin case. That was the one that you were talking about, right?
That was the one I was talking about.
Link for that.
Mm-hmm. And one interesting case, I have to say this one because I find this one to be fascinating. It had to do with 4 land surveyors. So basically, they were hired to do a land survey and this happened in 2002 in the county of Georgia. It was Harris County, Georgia.
Yep.
And what happened was
today.
Oh, you read that case? Here's where the weird thing is. I mean, I'm like I said, it gives me chills. So you have these 4 land surveyors. They got their equipment where they're going to stick it in the ground. They're going to look through it. They're going to do the measuring and stuff like that. And they are 50 feet apart from each other. And what they would do is they would turn around, match up the poles, and do this. All 4 of them are doing their survey. All of a sudden, the third guy keeps turning around to the 4th guy, and he's back there. The last time he turns around and looks at the guy is gone. Nowhere to be found. So they're like, "Hey, dude, where are you? Where'd you go? Did you go to the bathroom?" And they're like looking for this guy. But here's where it gets weird. They found where he disappeared. They found the guy's pocket change on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They found one boot, one of his shoes.
Yeah, on the outside of the barbed wire fence.
Stuck on the fence. So there's a barbed wire fence, and his one boot is stuck on the barbed wire fence as if he was turned upside down. And then it gets even stranger that 9 months later, his second boot was found. Mm-hmm. 9 months later, totally miles and miles away. So they found his 2 shoes. They found his pocket change that was in it. And the only way that they could say like how his boots were arranged is as if someone just grabbed him, turned him upside down, the pocket change fell, and then his boot came off and stuck to the barbed wire fence, and then he disappeared.
Yeah.
That's
and Tommy said maybe it's a alien Bigfoot. You never know. You never know what's out there.
Or it could be time travel related.
Yeah.
Because
and that's another one that I not many that I've read about that, but it is tied with this as well.
That's one of the research theories that I have is about the time travel, that for whatever reason they're getting into some sort of time displacement. That's why the canines can't find them. That's why they disappear without a trace. That's why they're gone, because either they went into a different portal dimension or they're in a different timeline completely. Yep. So there is time travel related reasons as well. And we talked about, I mean, alien, Bigfoot, time travel. I'm also going to go as far as to say the government, because I have a very interesting map later on to show on how a whole bunch of conspiracy theories come together with this 411.
Tommy did send me the cluster map.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find it.
The cluster maps, well, okay, since we're talking about it, you can pull up yours. I've got 5 maps. But the cluster maps, if you superimpose them to other conspiracy theories, they're the same spots. That's what's scary about it, is you take in the clusters of where the 411 go missing, where alien activity has been spotted, where the solar eclipse that I talked about on April 8th that's coming up, that's going to be another interesting thing. And even where caverns are. These all line up. These cases are happening. I know, I'm sorry. Somebody pointed out that I said the C word 3 times already. Well, we're trying not to say the whole word, but yeah, I have to be careful. No C word. We'll see if YouTube likes me after this week.
It should be fine because of the specific topic that we're talking about. Okay, Christopher Tompkins case. So Tommy did drop the link for that one as well.
I like that, just in case if anybody wants to Christopher. And like I said, do your own research. Even just putting the names in. I mean, you don't necessarily have to put that, but put the names in. You will find so much information about this. And like I said, it's hard to report this because we could be talking about this for years with each individual case. We're not going to do that. We're just giving like an overview of some different cases and some different things that happened.
Okay. Do we want to go to the next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the next profile point, which we've kind of touched base on already, is missing clothes. Removed, no shoes or an article of clothing is missing.
Let me write that back to profile points. I didn't realize we were still on profile point. I'm sorry. We went up.
No, there's only a few more.
Okay.
And
right, so missing shoes or clothes. Or destroyed clothes, because there was a lot of them where they've been tattered or scratched up or dirty.
See, and the ones that I saw or I was reading, they were actually missing their clothes. And like I said, there's so many cases. I couldn't. I've been doing this for at least a couple years off and on, and you're just never going to hit every case unless you're spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week doing this. And when you're by yourself and you're because you can only read for so long, and I love to read. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's hard to try to read everything, soak it all in, remember everything, and not get it intertwined with another story, because a lot of them are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then you have other ones that are not. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 more profile points.
Okay, yeah, list them up. I'll put them in the chat.
Okay. The next profile point, which is number 10, is unknown cause of death if the body is found.
Okay.
And what they mean by this is, you know, a coroner cannot figure out what caused them to pass away.
And see, a lot of times with something like that, it could be due to how long it's been before they found the body, that there may be decay, or it could be that animals already started eating the body, so it destroys evidence. You said it's near water. If the body is submerged in water, evidence is going to be
right. And this is for the bodies that are found, not the bones, not just the bodies that are actually found, and are still intact. And a lot of times when the coroner cannot determine the cause, they put down hypothermia.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's signs of it, but they're not all the signs of it, if that makes sense. Yes, and Tommy is correct. After you do your own research, come back to this video and leave your thoughts in the comments. The comments, because
like I said before this, I never heard of. I mean, I heard a little bit about it, but I didn't even know what you were talking about with when you said missing 411. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? All right, so unknown cause of death, and you said there was a few more.
Yep.
Let's write this. Okay, let me write that in.
So Tommy, do you still have the link or the map? I can't find it in our messages that you sent. I don't know where it went.
I can pull it up. I have one right here.
Cool.
Share screen. That's the one that I was telling you about with the different. Okay, let me share this. But you want the cluster one, which is this one, 411 cluster.
Yep. Okay, so how they have this written is the geographical clustering effect is what they call this. So what it means is, or what I was understanding it means, and what I wrote down from the books, is of people who fit the missing 411 profile, 3 to 70 or 80 people are missing in the same area.
That's a lot of people. And if you look at this map, you could tell the areas. I mean, okay, obviously you got the East Coast, where it's just after the what is it, Appalachian Mountains, and then you got to look at like where the blank spot is. That's the Rocky Mountains, so it's on both sides of the Rocky Mountain, and you're looking at it, and it's like there are a lot of similar places. But what I find fascinating, and this is what I brought up earlier, is if you superimpose this map on other maps, something very, very interesting starts happening, and it ties in so many different theories. But I'm not going to show that just yet. Finish the profile points, because that's really interesting about the profile points. And we can come back to this.
Same or close to the same type of a disappearance.
Okay, so you said 40 to 60 people.
No, it's 3 to 70 or 80 people in the cluster.
Okay,
are in the same area, and then out of the ones that fit the missing 411, they disappear the same or close to the same way in each geological cluster.
Okay, so we got some okay, so just to address, Gettysburg said, is Gettysburg on the map with any cases? I can't make it out. Yes, it is. Well, actually, Virginia would be more so. Hold on. I know my map is a little off, but Virginia would be a little. But you could see it's mostly where the mountains are. Think of it that way. And then Tammy's like, I have so much to investigate now. Tammy, this is a rabbit hole that will take you so far. That's why I said this topic, we can't even begin to discuss everything because there's just so much. So we're trying to take highlights as best we can. And okay, so you said they disappear close in the same way in each geological cluster?
Yep, and it's at least 3 to 70 or 80 people in each cluster.
3.
So I mean, it's a big spread of numbers.
Yeah.
But that's how they have it written in the books.
Right.
I'm actually looking real quick to see if any of these have the Gettysburg.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but then again, yeah, I would think that there was. Rich, this is going back. Some of my cases go back to the early 1920s, so we're talking. This is throughout the years. There's a couple of cases. Yeah.
long, long time.
Yeah, this isn't something that just happened starting a specific year. These cases are going back way. I mean, the one that I was talking about, the Martin case, that was back in 1954.
Yeah.
Now, while I have this map up, I might as well go in. Oh, or I'm sorry, were the points done?
No, not yet. But I did find Vermont in this book. It's the Missing 411 Hunters Unexplained Disappearances. It has Bennington, Glastonbury Mountain, Green Mountain National Forest, Middlebury, North Adams, Reading, Ripton, Somerset, and West Townsheld. And I may have spelled all of those wrong or said all of those wrongs. So I do apologize.
So he says, so not all the clusters are in national parks. Basically, they are, though. I mean, that's what we're trying to point out, that these are in national, because national parks are everywhere.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
Well,
but there's been somewhere, people have owned land, and I'm talking acres and acres and acres and acres of land that their family has owned generations, and there was a hunter that disappeared on his own land. I mean, not all, but a lot are. Thank you, Tommy.
Tammy says she lives in Sequoia National Park. I guarantee there's missing people in Sequoia National Park. Guarantee it. Particularly with those big sequoia trees and everything.
Now that's in California, right?
Yes, California. That
You
sequoia
said big trees, and so
that's
like,
its own conspiracy theory. Oh, I'm using. I said the C word. Uh-oh.
You'll be all right. How do you spell that? S-E.
Yeah, don't let me get on the rant of giants. We're saving giants for another show. There's a kid that disappeared on a county road after a car accident. Oh, here we go. The Langoliers. Anybody remember the Stephen King book?
I have it up there.
Langoliers. That's how they disappeared. The little crunchy time travelers monsters that bite it.
Sequoia. There were. I don't. I'm trying to see Tommy's comment.
I read it already. The kid that disappeared on the county road after a car accident.
Oh yes, we watched that one too. We did. We listened to somebody talk about that one. And that one was wild.
Rich says, I have to play devil's advocate before I go. So here's the question. Let's hear it, Rich. We love to hear opposing views. Because like I said, we have yet to discuss what the reason for these are. I mean, we talked about, okay, is it Bigfoot? Is it time travel? Is it the cave system? Is it the military? Is it just animals eating? Or is it... We don't know what the reason is.
Lost. I mean, there's so many. That's such an array of different things. But while he's typing in his question, or they're typing in their question, there's two more profile points that I'm going to just say quickly. Swamps and bogs. And that's generally the people, and that one was brought in with the hunters one. For a profile point, because of the fact that most people, the general public, doesn't go there. Hunters go there, or fish, people who are like.
Yeah, but that's usually like alligator attacks, because if you get lost in a swamp, you're immediately going to be eaten.
But we don't have alligators and crocodiles in Wisconsin. We have swamp.
Actually, this is a good question. I don't know the answer to this. Do any of the books show percentage-wise that it's more than just the normal evil world? So in other words, the percentages of how many are being...
I have not found that. But maybe Tommy can find the answer real quick. Because that's just how he is. He's very good at finding information and percentages and stuff like that. These are just pretty much him talking and discussing each case, each individual case.
And I mean, the map that's on there right now with the clusters, although I don't have numbers, just look at how many dots. Those are the ones that they are classifying as 411. There's probably so many more of people getting lost, and okay, there's no statistics in the book. All right, Rich, we don't have the statistics on that, but like I said, you could just see how there's a correlation between the missing 411, that it keeps happening over and over and over again in a same area. That's what makes it. Oh, I'm going to say goodnight with one good story. Well, we're so glad that you're here, Rich. And don't worry, next week, I think we're going to be doing dreams next week.
Yes.
So pay attention next week, because you like dreams. We'll talk about spooky dreams. Have a good night, Rich. We're so good.
He's leaving us with one good story, so I can't wait for this. And then our last one is equipment malfunction, compasses malfunctioning. So equipment malfunctions. That's the other.
Oh, wait, here we go. A 5-year-old kid. Whoops. A 5-year-old kid went missing and was found roaming in a Florida swamp yesterday. Was he? How far was he from where the swamp was? Do you know? Do you happen to know? And he's lucky because, like I said, if a kid is roaming around in Florida, you're going to get eaten by alligators. I'm sorry. That's where I believe most of the swamp people go. Saw a video on Fox.
Oh, wow.
Beth is in the house. Hello, Beth. Good evening.
Hello. Yeah, I was born in Florida and we moved to Wisconsin just before I turned 11. And
alligators.
You can't swim in the lakes like you can in like Wisconsin, so that was a big difference. And I am not one for water. I have my own story about why I do not like water. I cannot go in water past my knees. Last summer, I literally was freaking out because I was trying to conquer that. And I feel bad for Tommy because he walked with me and I was shaking. I was so scared. I'm not, if I can't see the bottom of if I can't see my feet and around me, I can't do it. And I will talk about it in the appropriate show. But yeah, I have a huge fear of water, and it could be too because a lot of that could contribute to the fact that we were at one of my parents' friends' house, and the neighbor let the mermaid story is another show. Yes.
Oh, that could get really wicked if you look up the history of mermaids.
I know, we'll have to do a
or
show
even
about
sirens
that.
Or something.
Yeah, we'll have to do a show about that.
Yeah, write that one down. Mermaid sirens. Hey.
Oh, poor baby. But yeah, and watching the neighbor's dog go near the lake was probably
I'll
not.
mute it if they start. So.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. So that little boy is definitely lucky to be roaming around in a swamp.
Yeah. Considering he wasn't eaten by an alligator, because that's the first thing that's going to happen.
Alligators, crocodiles, snakes. Yeah. They got big snakes down there because people
let them the big iguanas that fall out of the tree every time it freezes up.
Yeah.
You can get killed by an iguana hitting you on the head because it falls out of a tree when it gets cold.
Florida's weird. I ain't even gonna lie, and I'm from there. I was born there. And
all right, let me I'm gonna make this a little smaller. I want to show you a correlation because this is where I start getting freaky deaky. Like, it's like I find this fascinating because when people go missing, I'm instantly going to say, okay, the government did it, the aliens did it, the time dilation, the cavemen, the Sasquatch. That's what I want to get into that story. But I just want to show some maps. So the one we're looking at right now is the clusters of the 411. These are the cases of people going disappearing. I'm going to bring up another map, my third map. This is the underground military across the United States. So obviously our military has underground tunnels. Just take a look at this area right here. That is exactly the area where all the missing 411 happened, is where the underground military is. I'll bring the other one. I can't do it side by side. I just have to scroll back and forth real quick. But take a look at that. You've got this big area right here. And then we go up here. Look at that. That is all underground military. And it's the same thing over here on the west side. You've got all this over here, underground military. That's an interesting correlation. Now, let me show you another map. I'm going to go from underground military. How about this one? We're going to the map of the cave system. So look at all the caves that are on the east side. It's practically the same as where your underground military is and as where all this cluster of missing people. So possibly the cave system. And there's the whole theory that perhaps caves are portals to different time dimensions or different areas. I leave that up to you. And I'm going to just show one last one because I mentioned this earlier. Just pay close attention. This right here is the solar eclipse that's going to happen on April 8th. So that's why I said, and we're talking a week and a half. So next week, keep track of April 8th because this solar eclipse is going to be very, very powerful, considering it's crossing 2 points of two other solar eclipses that happened. The one on August 21st, 2017, June 10th, 2021, and October 14th, 2023. The big one right now is this path right here. That's the April 8th solar eclipse that's going to happen.
It makes a big old A.
Well, here's the interesting thing if you want to talk religion. That symbol is the Judaic alpha. And then if you look at the X's here, it goes through the omega. So it makes like the whole alpha omega. And I'm not talking Greek. I'm talking about Judaic systems. So there's this whole belief because the towns that the eclipse is going through are all your towns that were named after religious places. It's going through Nazareth. It's going through Egypt. It's going through. It's really, really weird when you look at, and it's not Egypt in Africa. It's the towns within the United States that are named after some biblical towns. So there's some really weird stuff happening. Oh, wait, we got people talking. What do we have here? A lot of cover-ups. A man was eaten by a mountain lion, and the police said he fell on his head and died. They didn't want to hurt vacationing money. That's true. They could be covering up.
Yeah, and that's another theory, where they just, a lot of it, like in Canada, a lot of the cases in Canada, it is speculated that the law enforcement did not do their jobs very well. Mm-hmm. It's speculated.
I just
people can only do so much with what they have. And there was a case where, this photographer went out, he went to take pictures. He worked with wildlife. Like that was his job. He went and tracked down bear and tagged them, put trackers on them. That was his job. He was good at his job, but he also took pictures. And yeah, that happened. That was in Canada, right, honey?
Was that the guy that died that was mauled by a bear and it was his last movie?
Yep. No, no, that was a different person.
Okay. Yeah, because he actually has video of the bear mauling him, and I forget what his name was, but they made the whole documentary about that.
Yeah, no, this is a totally different gentleman. But they said that he was unalived by a bear. Yes, Canada. Thank you. And he was dropped off for 2 weeks, and when they came back for, after the 2 weeks, they couldn't find much of him. Like, there was nothing. Like, the site looked like he had maybe one meal there, and stuff like that. It was crazy.
That's what it is. Gettysburg Rich said the movie Grizzly Bear by Warner Herzog. Great film. Thank you, Rich. That was the one I was talking about because that's exactly what happened. He went into the wilderness and got killed by the bear.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to watch somebody get mauled.
Well, you don't actually see it. They obviously won't show that, but it's the whole documentary of how sad it is that he did this his whole life, and then the bears killed him. Which actually, I have another story. If anybody wants to write this name down, his name is Bert. I'm sorry, Bert Schuyler. Let me just write that down. Bert Schuyler. Okay, so the story of Bert Schuyler is he was an expert Siberian tiger hunter survivalist. That was his thing. His life was nothing more than going on these expeditions about survival. I mean, he was like the real I don't know, the land of lost, like survival sort of thing. So he knew how to hunt, he knew how to track, he knew everything. And the
Yeah.
weird thing is, he signed up in the Yukon back in 2004. It was September 2004, Yukon, Canada. He signed up for this excursion where basically a plane comes down, drops you into a deserted wooded area, and then comes back for you like a week later.
I
So
wonder if it's really if he disappeared the same way the guy I was talking to about.
it might be. I mean, but what happened was the plane came back to retrieve him. He's nowhere to be found. So when they find his campsite, this is what makes it really weird. They find the campsite. It's not ruined, it's not damaged, it's perfectly intact. There's no signs of struggle. However, his teeth and bones are just laying nicely on the campsite. Like, that's all they found of him were his teeth and a couple of bones. And it made no sense that he was eaten, because if this is a master tracker, he's going to know if something is coming to get him. There's going to be a struggle. He even had his bow and his gun next to him, but all they found were his teeth and bones. Yukon corner. Yeah, that was it. And very, very. Oh, I said Bert. I'm sorry, Bart. It's Bart Schuyler. I don't know why I said Bert. It's Bart. Bart Schuyler. That's the name.
That sounds awfully similar to the situation with the one that I was talking about, where he was dropped off and he was tracking moose. From what I understand, he was out tracking moose.
It might be the same story, or a lot of these stories, they
are so similar. Yeah. Yep. And it was Canada, and he was there. He was supposed to be there for 2 weeks. So it was like, wow. So it sounds very similar. And that's where it gets confusing and intertwining, where she read one, I read one, and they're very similar.
I have another story, but this story is one that they found alive. So this happened in May 21st, 1941. So we're going all the way back to 1941. So it was in Woodstock, Maryland. And basically it was a little boy was out playing with dogs. And the grandmother, her name was Betty Albright, is watching it. And he's out by the creek playing with the dogs. She just looks down at her book for a minute and then looks back up to see where both the dogs and the kid are missing. And they found the kid in a cave miles away, sleeping on animal heads, dead animal heads. So the kid was out cold. He was using like dead animal heads as a pillow. And when they found him alive, he was very, very confused. His clothing was completely torn up. He didn't even know where he was or how he got there or what was happened, but he was alive, found 4 miles away from where he was missing, and didn't even realize that he was missing. Like, he just thought, oh, I don't know what happened to me. I'm supposed to be at the creek. But now he's 4 miles away sleeping on dead animal heads.
Yeah, and they say that amnesia is one of the main things that is associated with any survivor. If they're too young to talk, that's one thing. But if they're old enough to talk and stuff, they have no memory of what happened.
And that makes it so weird. And you know something? Okay, I will say this, and this is just my own personal thing. Has nothing to do with the 411, but when you have like when you forget a memory of something, like you know that something happened during a specific time frame, but no matter what, you can't remember it. That is the most scariest thing, because you think to yourself, okay, what actually happened during that time? What? Sorry, but all the kids' stories sound like I can't even say that, Rich. We can't use it,
doesn't it?
That's another word we can't say.
Yeah, that one's definitely a word that we cannot say. Yeah, it does. It really does. Or tragedy happened with some of them becoming unalive. You know what I mean? And it's very sad.
Yeah, it is. But when you don't remember something that happens, and it's like, I almost have this feeling where they say, oh, they could do like regression therapy to try. Sometimes I feel like your mind shut down for a reason. You don't want to know what happened then.
Yeah, it could make it worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I personally feel like how effective hypnosis is, because you're putting yourself in somebody else's hands, and you don't know what their true intention of that is. I don't want to be walking around clucking like a chicken every time I hear a car go by. You know what I mean?
Write that down on the list, hypnosis. I have stories upon stories upon stories. Personal stories. Okay? Because me and my crazy adult life decided to join the National Hypnosis Circuit and go to conventions on hypnosis. So I can share personal stories that are unbelievable.
I just got to figure out how to spell it.
And you'll think I'm crazy. Well, actually, people don't think I'm crazy. But that is...
I do not think you're crazy.
It's fascinating, though. Oh, my God, is it fascinating? But we won't go there.
My mom told me that I should go to... So they've been advertising a lot in our area. Hypnosis on quitting smoking, losing weight, and anxiety. And it's like $50.
I will tell you, hypnosis works. You have to be susceptible to it.
I don't know if I am.
If you go in with the mind that I don't believe in this shit, then it's not going to happen. If you go in with an open mind and you believe in it and you want it to happen, I'm telling you, weird stuff happens.
I just don't want to cluck like a chicken every time a car drives by. I've seen those shows. No, thank you.
And I have personal experience. Like I said, Tammy says, sign me up for the anxiety one.
You know, and that's the thing, you know, I got anxiety about going to hypnosis for anxiety. You know what I mean? It sounds silly, but I don't know if I'm able to be put under like that. I don't know.
I think you would be surprised, because I thought myself, because I'm like, you can't put me under hypnosis. You can. But if you really concentrate, you can. And the stuff that happens, like I said, this is personal experience, because I was the crazy one that decided to go to not one, but 2 conventions with 6 of my friends. And they were 3-day hypnosis conventions. And it was an experience of a lifetime. That's all I have to say.
see, I'm with Tammy. I don't think I trust it. I don't know if it's hard for me to trust somebody I don't know. And it would just be, I don't know. I don't know how I would be with it.
That's a topic, but that's not the topic for next week. Next week we're going to be doing dreams.
Yep.
And I like dreams because I constantly try to analyze my dreams because I really believe that my dreams happened. Like my dreams will come true. And we're not talking I'm not talking about like Mickey Mouse like fantasies like, oh, just have a little dream and your dreams will come true. No. I'm talking seriously that there's so much symbolism in my dreams that I try to pay attention to exactly what it's saying.
A lot of people talk about a lot of people talk about dream journals, writing down your dreams. But there are a lot of people, and I know we'll touch base on this next week too, but I know a lot of people, they don't remember their dreams. Exactly, Valerie, the mind is very complicated. And that's why the missing 411 is so interesting, is because, you know, you literally have to do your own research, and you literally have to pay attention to each story and do research per story.
Oh, is
because it's a mind warp. It really is. And I love the missing 411. I just am very.
Oh, it's not going to fit. Darn. Hold on.
There is a second link that posted.
No, it's all the same link. Here. Let me just do it this way.
Is it journal line to write your dreams?
Yes, that's it. I'm doing a shameless self-promotion. Here we go. Look, that's me. I wrote that book. It's literally a line journal for, oh, why am I small? Don't give me small. Reset. There you go. I published a book. It's a dream journal.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if anybody wants a dream journal, I have it on Amazon for $6.99.
Nice. That's actually pretty cool.
Self-promotion. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You're not the only one that's going to be doing that. So, because you know how proud I am of it.
I know. Are you going to do it tonight, or you can do it another time?
Nope, I'm going to do it tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I just don't know how well it'll show up on the screen.
We're going to see. But quick question. Does anybody have any questions about the 411? Or does anybody have any thoughts or comments or things you want to say? Because like I said, what we did was a very, very brief overview. This is a type of discussion. Like I said, if you do your own research with some of the names we gave you, these stories will give you chills. And I mean, if you want to watch some interesting, watch the actual movies as well.
Yeah, he does have a couple movies. He's got books. Also, I mean, you can find any information on the internet. But, you know, if you want to just read them, they're a great read. They really are.
And they're short story style, right? Like it's each case study. So this is one of those things that you could just sit down for 5 minutes. You just read an entire case study, put the book down, and then it's like, okay, I have more time now. Let me read some more case studies.
But I do recommend that if you do that, you read each one little case on what they wrote here. Go on the internet and look that case up, because he doesn't put all the information in these books. There's just no way. I mean, these books would probably be, he would have to write literally 3 or 4 stories or 3 or 4 cases per book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know that they're a good read. I like the case, but I like this kind of stuff. If I go missing on my way to Dollar General tomorrow, it's on you, Mel. See you soon.
Hey, I already said that if I go missing because of the fires that are happening, I'm telling you, they did it. It's not an accident.
You will be safe. Just
Wait,
don't go outside at night.
tomorrow Saturday? Rich, you
Tomorrow's
can't
Friday.
wait, Rich, you can't go to Dollar General on Friday. You have to go on Saturday because Saturday is the coupon day where when you spend 25, you get $5 off. And then you can do the crazy coupon magic. Unless you decide to go after, what is it, 8 p.m.? So if you go after 8 p.m., you can take advantage of both the coupon day and the because they redo their code.
I don't know anything about the after 8 p.m. thing, but our Dollar General is something else. We have 2 of them.
They are in every single town in Texas. Like in Texas, that's all you're going to find is a Dollar General. And I hate Dollar General. I can't stand it.
Our town is tiny, but we have 2 Dollar Generals. The second Dollar General that they just built around the corner from my house next to the flea market, that was supposed to be a grocery one. It is the same Dollar General as the one over by the grocery store.
Lovely.
On this side of the tracks. Yeah, and the prices went up on a lot of their food items. And they like the one in town, half the coolers don't work. The new one, their shelves aren't stocked. It's like, and it's supposedly owned by the same guy. And I'm just like, well, that was kind of a waste.
Yeah, the prices went up on a lot of their items. It's I mean, all over the price. I just went shopping now. Do you know how much a block of Velveeta cheese, like the cheese you gotta melt if you want to make like dips and stuff like that? It was $9 for one block. $9. Like,
a big block or a little block?
Just a regular size block, like that big. Like whatever it is. It's the 1 pound block.
I don't know, I don't eat it, so
it's crazy. I mean, that's I could go over all the prices are just the $5 coupon is not what it used to be. Yeah, you got to do everything digital now. But that's what I said. I don't like that.
So the Dollar General around the corner, they just built their coupons that you get online because we have the app. They don't work in that store.
What?
Yeah, they don't work in that store.
That's crazy.
Over here, the on the other side of town, which I think they're maybe 2. I don't know. Tommy, do you know how far the distance between both our Dollar Generals are? But they're not that far apart. I mean,
dog food is $3 a can. That's crazy too. I remember when like cat food used to be 25 cents a can. Now I pay $1 a can for cat food. I do not have Apple TV, Rich. No. Do you have Apple TV?
No,
I don't have that. Sorry, Rich.
I don't have any Apple products. Tommy has iPhones and his iPad.
I don't use Apple products. Constellation has been great. One is a half a mile south and the other one is 1 mile north.
Okay, thank you. From where we live.
I'm actually lucky where I live. My Dollar General is 4 blocks away. So unfortunately, I use it simply because it's 4 blocks away.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you go out our road, you go down, go over the railroad track, you go to the main street, which is like 2-3 blocks down. You take a left, you go over the railroad tracks, and it's right on the other side of the flea market, which the flea market isn't that big. So it's like a hop, skip, and a jump from here. You know, we could walk it if we wanted to. I'm too lazy to cross them darn railroad tracks. Thank you very much. I don't like railroad tracks. But the one that's a half a mile from us, their coupons, the coupons hardly ever work. Hardly ever work. And then the one that's a mile from us, they have one register 9 times out of 10 that works.
See, my town is pretty big. You said you had a small town. There are $11 generals in my town.
Yeah, I think we have. What is our population? Let me look.
Wait, what does he say? Sounds like the eclipse is going right over your Dollar General. Well, you know something? The eclipse, Dallas will be able to see the eclipse better than I will, but I'm pretty sure I could see part of it. So I want to find out exactly what time, because I want to try to get a picture of the leaves. Because with the eclipse, the most amazing thing is the shadow that goes through the leaves. When you look at it on the ground, it makes crescent moons, which is supposed to be really cool. Oh, he's looking for a $half general.
We have a half Dollar Tree, half Family Dollar in our town.
Yeah.
It was the first one in our area.
Those are
It
cool.
sucks.
Why does it suck?
Because all the stuff that you would get normally at Dollar Tree for a good price, they don't have in the Dollar Tree Family Dollar combos.
No, they have it. Yeah.
You either get the Dollar General brand or you don't get nothing.
I know. I went to go to. There was a combo because my plug for my car charger broke, so I stopped at one of those combos in a little, and they didn't have the $1.25 plugs that I needed, but they had them in the Family Dollar section at $15.99 a plug, and I'm like, no, that's okay.
Dang. Okay, our population is 1,793 people.
I've got 110,000 in my town.
Tommy would love that. Tommy's
or should I say I'm in a town of 75? The hot and sour soup,
$2.20. Is that that ramen stuff?
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. It's too salty.
I'm not a big ramen.
How do we go from 411 to Dollar General?
I don't know. It happened.
Well, that's why
8,000 here and 100
missing. Well, you know what's going to happen? We're probably going to be ending this soon. However, Des has a very important announcement to make, which I'm very happy for her on this. We should have started that off with you forgot to tell me about this. I didn't know you were ready with it. We could have started it off. Next week we're going to definitely start that announcement, but I want you to tell everybody now. Yeah.
Okay. So, as you guys seen the bargain effect in chat, I was going to have him drop our email address. So I made.
Here, let me put you up. I'm going to make you big.
You made these.
I'm making you big. Oh, no, we can't see it. We need light.
I know. I goofed there. So we made these tumblers.
Let's get chatting. These are handmade tumblers.
Yes. I put the collage together, did everything on that part, and Tommy pressed them. And this one actually, this tumbler here, actually, where all the light is, all the white, that actually is UV activated with the sun. So it turns like a orangey yellow color. And it also glows in the dark. But we will be offering these mugs or these tumblers. We will be offering mugs. Okay, yep. And so Tommy did put that. We will have them in our eBay and Etsy store by the end of the next show, or by the next show. But these are but this one's a special one because this is the one that my honey made me. And we also have like the Shamrock Pixie, Jasmine Off the Wall. We make tumblers, but this one is for this show. Yay. And so if you're interested in getting a tumbler or even a coffee mug, we will have different merch items for this show.
That is so cool. I love it.
And I'm hoping you guys can see it really well because
Yeah, you got the Sphinx, you got the dinosaurs, you had Bigfoot
That's
in there.
Nessie.
Yeah.
And then we got Flat Earth, Bigfoot, UFO.
See, Tommy says you can do custom stuff also. I might.
Yep.
You know what's going to happen? I probably will have you say, "Hey, could you do a custom job for me?"
The lizard people.
Lizard people. Oh, you know something? Everything on that mug we can do a show about. You know I love talking about the lizard people. I have my theories about the lizard people. It extends to Hollywood. They're all lizards.
Yep. And you know, if you get a tumbler, each tumbler comes with a straw. So either have the clear top or just the metal straw. And we're gonna be doing that and offering that to everybody who watches who are interested. So you can make me small again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. I was so, when she showed me that, I'm like, oh my God. And I didn't realize about the UV thing because she showed me a little video that when you bring it outside,
Oh,
the
yeah.
sun makes a color change.
Let me
And then it's glow in the dark, which of course with my black light and everything would look cool. Although I'm a little upset. This my little tapestry doesn't glow in the blue light.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up those videos so I can show everybody. It might be easier too.
Yeah, pull them up. I think they're really, really cool. And now that people are using more and more steel tumblers as opposed to the plastic bottled waters, because everybody's afraid of microplastics and stuff like that.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
here's
when you share
the tumbler itself. Yep, I'm slow.
No, that's okay. I'll pull it up this way people can see it. Okay,
there we
so
go.
we can add that. Okay, there we go.
So this is the actual tumbler.
I love this. Look at that. Area
this is
50.
indoors. This is right after it was made. So this is indoors.
Like, let's get chatting. That's our new tagline. Let's get chatting. We're chatting about the CTs.
And then let me get the other one. I unshared because we have so much on there.
No, that's okay.
And then let me get this one set up. Present, share. All right, there we go.
Let's add that one.
Forgive the can.
Yeah, this is the one that I had no idea that they even make color changing ones that change in the sunlight. So I thought that was so cool because you start seeing it changing.
See how it got that orangey yellow?
That's actually really, really cool.
And then, you know, there's a couple different colors. They're random colors. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the next one that could be made or that would be made would not be, it would have a pink hue to it or a blue hue or whatever, you know, or yellow. This one's like the orangey yellow one.
They're like they're customized and personalized because each one is going to be totally different.
Right. And, you know, when you're pressing them, unless you take it outside, you have no idea what color it's going to change in the sun. Okay, so there's that one. Now see how it got intense with the color? Nope, that's okay. And then
I like the glow in the dark one. That one is just absolutely awesome.
And it is sideways, so I do apologize because I didn't realize that when I was doing it, it was sideways.
Have everybody tilt their head a little bit.
I was under a blanket to make it work.
But see, it glows that's awesome.
and this was just outside when I was recording that last video. So
I love that.
That's how short a time I was outside in the sun to have this activated. It was not long.
Let's get chatting. We got the CTs going. So I will say this: if anybody's interested in purchasing that, or if you just like decals or mugs, check out their. I don't know. Did you put your eBay or Etsy store? Oh, you'll have it in your eBay next. But either way, contact Des, contact Bargain Effect.
Yeah, let me. Where did he? I put the link for.
No, I was gonna say just put your email in if you want to put your email that they can contact you directly. But we want to. We're probably going to end the show here a little early. That's okay. Oh, there we go. He has the
Thank
eBay
you.
store.
I'm
Next
still
week.
learning.
Next week we're going to be talking about dreams.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be a very, very good topic. I'm excited about that one because, like I said, I love analyzing dreams and stuff.
So if you guys want this week, if you can remember your dream or one dream, write it down and we'll discuss it next Thursday.
Yes.
And
if anybody wants to do homework, I'm just going to say one thing and we'll talk about it next week. If anybody can remember their dreams, try to see if you can ask your dream what day it is or what time it is. Okay? So if you're having a dream and you think you can control your dream, ask your dream what time it is. And if you remember the answer, that's a very, very important thing. I'm not going to say what it means or anything like that, but just asking your dream what time it is. And we'll talk about that next week. So that's a little homework, but it's all about the dreams.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one too. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Missing 411. It was interesting, reading and learning and just.
Oh, I'm going to be researching that subject even more because I think I now want to get those books because after reading some of the cases, it's fascinating.
He's got, okay, so just so you guys know, I'll put it in the chat too. Even though you can find his books on Amazon, he's very touchy about Amazon because he didn't put his books there. Other people did.
Oh.
And he's not real happy about that. So, let me see. This is where you can find his books and movies. Let me make sure that's right because I'm horrible at spelling.
There it is. TheCanonMissing.com.
Yep.
Oh, and that's what he was talking about before, the Canon Project.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where all his books and DVDs and stuff can be bought.
Directly from the creator where he gets the money, not just a reseller. Because we like to go back to the original people and they deserve the credit.
Yeah.
All right, so check that out, guys. We want to thank everybody for coming tonight. If anybody has any questions, contact us. You see us around. I want to thank. Oh, I'm not saying anything. Okay. No, I'm sorry. Somebody messaged me.
Oh, I was like, I don't see nothing.
Oh no, but no comment on that one. But let's just say I love you. Hi there, lurkers. But everyone, have a great day. Enjoy. We will be back next week with the topic of dreams. And if you're interested, contact Des about those tumblers. They're great.
Tumblers.
Yes.
Or you can find us on eBay or Etsy at Prince by TBE.
Until next time, take care, everyone.
Much
have
love.
a good one. Oh, yeah. Love, love, love.